The Fourth Estate, which is a Showtime documentary that's airing on BBC Two on Sunday nights. This looks inside the New York Times during the first year of Donald Trump's presidency. Looks at the various stories, starting with his is it his inauguration or
Pretty
his,
much, yeah.
and the sort of through line is obviously his feud with the liberal media, as you will, the fake news stuff, and it looks at various characters in the New York Times. I think her name is Maureen, the White House reporter who's been reporting on Trump for years and years, since she worked sort of doing him like as a businessman and things like that, looking at him.
When Matt says doing him as a businessman, I ought to just say now.
Reporting
Thank you.
Can I just quickly interject?
What I was saying as I was saying it.
Quickly just interject. Only the last 3 episodes are up on the iPlayer, and the previous series are no longer there at the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, each one you're looking inside the newsroom, how these people are reacting to a president who is locking them out of some of the press scrums, who is sort of like in the most recent episode where it's the press conference about or just after the Jacksonville riots. I think they go to Phoenix. There's his first rally in Phoenix, and there's protest there, and he literally says, "Your enemies are the people with the cameras behind you."
And the crowd turns.
The crowd turns and starts taking pictures of them and going, "Call yourself an American," and it is really. I mean, the access they get to most of it is amazing. I mean, they're looking at like the G8 summit in the second episode. The sort of the Coney stuff.
Sorry to add in, but the bit in the most recent episode, and sorry to sort of add a spoiler in it, when they go to Steve Bannon's house.
Yeah, because
they go to his house. My God.
One of them has a relationship, quite a good relationship with Steve Bannon, based on the fact that he wrote quite a glowing obituary of, was it Breitbart?
The news site that Steve Bannon started.
Like a far-right news site, and they expected the New York Times to do quite a sort of derogatory obituary based on the fact that obviously his views are very different from theirs, but he wrote it in quite a positive manner, and they'd had a relationship ever since, so he was able to, as you say, go to Steve Bannon's house and talk about how, what...
That was just after Bannon had been sort of like, not fired, but wasn't inside the inner circle anymore.
For me, I mean, I don't particularly follow politics and the news that strongly. I hear about stuff on Twitter, and obviously knew about...
In Tesco's.
Well, I know it's coming home. The big events that are...
So's Trump.
The big events that are happening, obviously I know about, like the riots, and there's bits about Weinstein as well in this third episode. But I think the looks at what it's like to be a journalist, and there are things about like strikes they go on because the New York Times is trying to put down on editors, because it's the structure they've got at the moment is set up for print media, but obviously the move to online means they need more writers and less editors. So there's really it's a really sort of densely packed documentary. Every scene is memorable. The access they get is fantastic. I learned a lot. If you're like American politics, if you're interested in that, but even if you're just interested in people, I think they do a good job of focusing on, say, 4 or 5 key characters and their reaction. I mean, in this third episode, which I watched most recently, they focused on like an African American journalist. So she was covering the Jacksonville thing and talking to Black Republicans and their feelings that they were sort of trying to distance themselves from Trump. And I just really like this.
I absolutely love this. This ticks a lot of boxes for me. I love American politics. You get ready to drink. I love the West Wing. And I think the key thing that I find amazing is how much of the runnings of a newspaper is very little to do with paper. Everything you see is set up for the digital age. I don't think there was any time where they were worrying about a headline for the front page of the newspaper. It was all about what's going on Twitter, what's going on the front page of the website. There is a slight annoyance, and I will have a slight rant here. I need programs to stop doing something. If you want to do a plot point via a tweet or a text, for goodness sake, make it bigger on the screen.
Oh no, that's not what I was thinking of. I did not like every time someone sent a tweet, they did the tweet sound effect.
That didn't annoy me as much.
That got really annoying in the third episode.
It is part annoying. And I realise that Twitter has a big part to play because of the fact that Donald Trump uses it so much. So I do realise that they need to do it.
To your point, Gary, I would say get stronger glasses, Grandad.
Yeah. Well, no, but but the thing is that they put it in a corner of the screen, and actually, it's a huge point to what's coming up. Now, I know this isn't a drama, but if you're saying the reaction that happens, the work that goes on, comes out of this one tweet, for goodness sake, make it big on the screen.
Well, couldn't you pause it and read it if you're struggling?
Why should I have to?
But then they talk. I don't think it's that big a plot. Then they will go on and talk about it and discuss what he said in the tweet.
But there was a drama on recently did the same thing with Tex, and I was annoyed. And maybe it is my eyesight, but yes. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Because if you're going to make a major point, for goodness sake, give it to us large and make it,
Are you listening, people who make Holby City?
I wasn't necessarily Holby City.
This does feel like I should have gone to Specsavers moment.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
We'll see you in the next ad.
Luke, let's get out of this sort of cycle. And
okay, hold on. Let me finish my thoughts on the rest of it. The interactions between those that work in the White House and press staff are great. I've always wanted to see behind the scenes of that. It was a bit that fascinated me about the West Wing, about the access that they have. And the fact that they had like a daily briefing.
He's very anti-ESPN as well, isn't he?
That's to do with sports, though. CNN. Sorry, yeah, ESPN is sports. CNN, yeah. Yeah, and I can understand.
He doesn't like ESPN's coverage, okay?
I got confused there.
I was really confused.
The CJ scenes in The West Wing were my favourites as well, and I agree with you that I liked seeing the sort of real-life version of that.
I'm just flabbergasted by how calmly the country of America is taking this absolute moron running their country.
I don't know whether they are. I'm not sure.
Well, I think broad
Gary,
parts
calmly.
Are.
Have you seen? Did you see the riots in Phoenix when they were doing they had the half of them like with the placards out saying, "Not my president," and Phoenix isn't welcoming you, and then you had the aggressive crowds in the rally turning on the journalists.
Sure, but he is doing a very good job as reframing that as he is winning the argument because he effectively has the loudest voice. There's no way to judge how he's doing until you get to his either the primary the primary elections this year or his re-election. Effectively, he has won and he is winning because he's getting his message out better than they're getting their message out, and he's belittling whatever message they put out.
What the programme illustrates so brilliantly, because I wasn't that invested in Obama. I mean, I was living there at the time, and you didn't see half as much of Obama when he was in presidency as you do of Trump. I mean, what this programme illustrates so brilliantly is just the speed of everything that happens is just, they can't keep track of just the sheer speed of the things going on. You get one topic that he's done something which people are outraged at, normally quite rightly, always quite rightly I should say, and the next minute he's done something just as awful that completely takes the shine off the last thing and you forget about it. And I just think that these people that they're putting the focus on are so fascinating that they've never seen anything like it in their journalism careers. I am both in awe of the fast way which they type. I wish I could do that.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I can type quite quickly.
Then why have you written more stuff for the website, Matt? You could do it in 5 minutes.
He can't think quick enough. He can type it, but he can't think.
Yeah.
I had to do a typing test for this new job as one of the.
What are you up to these days?
Words per minute. About 80.
I got up to 60 once, and I was quite happy with that.
It's a world that I've never seen on TV, at least in documentary form before, and I find it engrossing. And again, it's an hour, and at no point do I ever look at the clock. At no point do I get fidgety. I am so engrossed, and I feel like I'm in there in the newsroom, and that is what the best documentaries should do. It's on. The final episode is this weekend, and I'm really gonna miss it.
I want more.
Yeah,
I hope we get more later. I hope.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I the fact that this is only 4. I think it works in terms of they're focusing on one primary story and then a lot of sort of secondary bits here and there. as well. So
there is so much to cover about him.
Oh.
Though.
Yeah.
They could do one a week, and I don't think.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they haven't even. I don't even think they got to the bit where Anthony Scaramucci leaves after only 2 weeks. I think we're in the middle of that. I can't really remember.
I don't even know where that is because they're only covering the first 100, the first year, aren't they?
And they're up to day 280 something already.
Oh, okay. Well, I think because he's in, so he'll be out before the year. Yeah, I remember that.